Target press conference and sand installation. I am Shanika Smith. I'm Judge George's Chief of Staff, and I would like to introduce you to Judge George himself so we can start out with our welcome for this installation ceremony.
Thank you. Thank you, Shanika. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, people. This is so good. It is an exciting day, an exciting moment for us because I just wanted to say 5 years ago, Mr. Middleton and I, some other people came to this county, and we have been told there is nothing called human trafficking in Portland. Likewise? That's right. We came a long way. And if this day and age, if somebody said you don't have a problem, then they are putting their head in the sand and thinking everything is fine. And so that, thank God, our district attorney didn't do that. And thank God we have people like Bridgette Smith-Lawson in office. Thank God we have Eric Fagan, our sheriff, in office. And Fort Bend is. We have work to do, there's no question. Fort Bend is in a better shape today. Because, why I'm saying that, opening this conversation, because, and also when it comes to public safety, you had a lot of stuff until November 8th. You know, everything is upside down in Fort Bend County, and after that, magically everything is look like good now. And so, we are in good hands, and that is my message to those who are watching, those who are listening. We are in good hands. We have more work to do, and when it comes to anything like this, we know that awareness is the key. And I'm joined by some esteemed people today to discuss, talk, and also share some ideas, share some news about what kind of work they have been doing, how successful they are. And human trafficking, as you all know, in this room, everybody knows what we are talking about. You all are engaged with this, but we, for the sake of those who are watching, almost 27.6 million people somehow trafficked every year throughout our world. And it is a modern day slavery. We all know that. That includes women, children, men, for various reasons, which is in this day and age, we cannot allow. We wanted to be intentionally doing something about it. And that's what our leaders are doing. And I'm so proud. I'm so honored to stand and work with our leaders, those who are understanding this is an issue, this exists, this problem exists. Let's approach it, let's go in and take care of it as much as we can and tell the story. That's what we are trying to do here. We don't want this thing happening around us. Unfortunately, it does. And I'm not going to steal the thunder from our district attorney. He is going to be explaining what kind of work he and his team did in Fort Bend County this is the 5th year. And again, those who are watching, Fort Bend County, I repeat, is in a better state today when it comes to human public safety and anything of that nature. And so thank you. And I would like at this point actually invite our very own district attorney, Brian Middleton, to come forward. Because I have some statistics given to me, but I'm not going to say it. I want you to say it, sir. Because you guys accomplished that from zero to wherever we are today. And so that is an incredible, I don't know how many of you know, our district attorney is almost nationally recognized in these areas. And so very proud to have somebody. Yeah, just and I'm not trying to say this to make our district attorney feel good, or not. That's not what it is. He doesn't need those things. But seriously, it is important to make sure we have right people in office to take care of our citizens' need. And I before I invite, one more thing I will say. I remember sitting down with a mother in this office whose daughter was trafficked, and being a father of 2 daughters. That was heartbreaking to see. And I hope that won't happen to anybody else. And our hope today is, if anything like that, if we can stop one of that, it will work. And we will put every resources, everything we have available, put behind that purpose. And at this time, I invite our very own district attorney, Brian Middleton. and come and say what you guys are doing here. Important.
Good morning. Thank you for everyone for coming. This is a vitally important recognition as we pause to do this Red Sand project to raise awareness about human trafficking. As Judge George indicated, when I took office, there was a sense of denial in our community about the existence of human trafficking. There were those in the community who resisted, but we accepted responsibility. Investigators on my staff working with the Human Trafficking Rescue Alliance put together a number of different operations and refuted the myth that human trafficking did not exist in Fort Bend County. And since that time, we have not paused. We continued with that mission, and now we have even more partners. With the election of Eric Fagan as sheriff, we now have the support of the Sheriff's Department and every agency in Fort Bend County. And we work collectively to keep our community safe, and one of our missions is to eradicate human trafficking in Fort Bend County. I'm fortunate to have a lot of experience among the staff members in my office, and they've taken that collective experience and put together some very successful operations. And I will say this, we may or may not be doing an operation right now. And for those who are watching, just assume on any given day, we're doing an operation. So just say no. And for parents, there's a tendency to believe that this happens to other people. That's not true. There's some people in our community who believe this happens to immigrants. That's true, but it's not only immigrants. It can affect your kids. It can affect people that you know. This is not a status crime. It's not just people that are deprived, that are victimized by this. This happens, and I can think of one child, for example, who came from an affluent family, who met someone online and very quickly was inducted into human trafficking and has to deal with the consequences of that for the rest of their life. Parents didn't do anything wrong, very vigilant, protective, but that one little small window of opportunity. And she met up with someone, and it was not a good person, and she was forced into human trafficking. So don't believe that if you live in a gated community that it couldn't happen to you. Don't believe because you're a good parent it couldn't happen to your kids. It could. So we all need to work together, work collaboratively to make sure that Fort Bend County is not a safe place for human trafficking. We want people who are even considering buying or selling human beings that Fort Bend County is not the place to be. We are very vigilant about keeping our community safe, whether you engage in human trafficking, you engage in any other criminal activity, gang activity, not in Fort Bend is our motto. And we will be relentless in our pursuit to eradicate this in Fort Bend County. And we hope that people stop by and take recognition of the Red Sand Project and understand that when we know better, we do better. And as we educate the public on the signs to watch out for, we can fortify our community, we can protect our children, and we can be a model for the United States. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Middleton, your hard work. And also I will ask you to touch the signs, especially when it comes to our children, what to look for. And because there's one reason, almost 30% of our residents in Fort Bend County are almost 900,000 people foreign born. And understand, I talk this all the time. I came here as an adult, and when we come to America, everything is perfect. And that is most part, It is true. And that is the reason why they don't pay a lot of attention around their children. I'm not saying everybody, many people, I know. And so it is important to touch on some of the signs, warning signs, what you can look for. Maybe understanding who they're talking to, and what kind of phone and computer access they have. And I ask you to touch on those things so that those who are watching, they could be more vigilant about this thing. And obviously, as you all know, this is not a one person or one office action. We all need to do our part. And in that, and there is another person came in maybe a little bit later, 2 years later, but took and ran with this thing. And that is our very own Port Bend County Attorney, Bridgette Smith-Lawson, and her team doing an exceptional job working with District Attorney's Office in conjunction together and understanding this is an issue we have to work together. And I have to commend to you, ma'am, so much of your effort and what you're doing in Fort Bend County along with our District Attorney Ryan Middleton. And I want you to come up and say a few words, your department's activities so far, and also you could talk about some warning signs and things of that nature for the benefit of parents. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm happy to be here. Not that we're celebrating this issue, this topic, but we're talking about it and bringing awareness to our community about human trafficking. When I first came into office, I knew what human trafficking was. Coming from the child welfare system, we dealt with runaways, we dealt with juveniles, we dealt with young people who were already into prostitution. We knew what to look for, warning signs, such as having stacks of debit cards, because sometimes they'll just deposit the money on various different cards for them, I guess for the services that they perform. But I already knew coming in that this was an issue in Fort Bend and that it needed help. But as the civil side, we wanted to make sure that our efforts complemented DA Middleton and complemented the Sheriff's Office. So immediately I created a regulatory division, appointed my chief, whom I met, who's present. I later got a chief investigator and another attorney, Anton Montano, to work on that. And we have created the first illicit massage parlor regulations for Fort Bend County. So what does that mean? We are going to work in tandem with the DA's office and law enforcement to send notice of arrest letters, notice of violations, and use every civil remedy that we can possibly come up with to shut these places down. Basically, when law enforcement goes out and does the arrest, we're coming back with civil remedies to take them to court, to put the landowner, the owner of whatever property that this activity is occurring on, we're putting them on notice of the bad activities, the illegal activities that's going on at their business or on their property, so that we can get them to shut down. We actually had a success story recently with a massage parlor where we sent a notice letter to the owner. He didn't know that this was going on. And so he agreed to go ahead and shut his business down. But more importantly, we are still going to be sending out notice letters, as many as we can, as much information as we get from law enforcement, so that we can do our part to complement the efforts in fighting human trafficking. On Monday, we will be meeting with the Houston Association of Realtors so that we can speak directly to the commercial property owners in Fort Bend County, in the greater Houston area, to let them know what to look for at their different properties, at their different establishments, so that they can work with us, with law enforcement, to make our community safer. So these are some of the efforts and undertakings. More to come, and as many ideas as we can come up with, we are going to help law enforcement, help our DA, and just help us all make Fort Bend safer. It is our pleasure to serve 20 years in the public service. I'm grateful for every moment. I look back and I think about all of the bad cases, but I also think about all the lives that we've saved. And I'm grateful to be a part of the life-saving part of the work in public service. So thank you this morning.
Thank you, Bridgette Smith-Lawson, for that informational remark. And I also This is not one or two people's business in Fort Bend County. All law enforcement agencies and law enforcement agencies are included in this effort. And when you talk about that, Fort Bend County Sheriff's Office is another big part, and they are engaged. One of the beautiful things is these three agencies working together, and that didn't happen in the past. And that, because of that, Fort Bend County is a better place when it comes to talking about these things. And I just wanted to, obviously today, Sheriff Fagan is not here and he's engaged with some other business, and so he couldn't make it, but definitely we have somebody here to talk about this specific issue, how they're tackling. And I just wanted to invite Kevin Hunt. And
first of all, I'll say good morning. The sheriff couldn't be here like he stated, but this is very, very important. We want to say thank you to the DA's office, because without you and your efforts, we wouldn't be able to do our activities and try to end human trafficking. And I remember that conversation about no human trafficking in Fort Bend County about 5 years ago. And I told Eric at that time, I said, if it's in Harris County, Houston, how can it not slide to Fort Bend County? And he jumped on board and said, you're right, and you guys have done a phenomenal job. And we want to say that we support every effort behind the DA's of his continued effort to rid Fort Bend County of human trafficking. And anything you need, we'll be here to help you and support you with resources and things of that nature. And I just want to touch on what Bridgette said about things that she saw in Plainview. That's what we call Plainview. Those massage parlors and stuff that you might see at Walmart, or just people in general. A lot of times the people kind of look invisible. They feel like they're invisible. But today in Fort Bend County, we're putting light on them, and we see them, and we're here to support them. And we have our resources, and we have our DA, and we have all our law enforcement brothers and sisters in law enforcement to help different agencies as a coalition to fight and rid Fort Bend County of human trafficking. And for that, we're thankful. So thank you for my time, and I'll surrender it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hunt. Thank you for your kind remark. Yeah, these are the people who are identifying the problem and trying to expose it, arrest these people who are organizing this. But what happened after? What happened after you went after an organization, and we are definitely going to recover some victims? What kind of support we have, and how do we take care of them? Yeah, of course, going after these bad people is one thing, but how do we support the good people, are victims of this heinous crime? And so, definitely, thankfully, Fort Bend County and Houston metro area is very blessed to house a wonderful organization taking care of those needs. And one is coming forefront of that discussion is Elijah Rising. Provides outreach to women that have been exploited. This support includes long-term care, residence, and retroactive care. And to talk about it, and I will invite Jennifer Miller to come and talk about what kind of services you provide and how you are making our community better. Please come here.
Thank you, Judge. Good morning, everyone. I'm Jennifer Merrick from Elijah Rising. Elijah Rising is very honored to be invited here today. We would like to honor the voices of survivors in this area. We would like to honor the officials in Fort Bend County area, local officials that have really been standing in this fight. And we would also like to honor the other organizations that do what we do. It is a privilege for me to work directly with survivors of human trafficking. They come from a wide range of backgrounds, as the DA has said, and they all need holistic care. And so one of the things that Elijah Rising does is we have a restorative care program that provides residential holistic care to survivors in the greater Houston area. They may come from all over the nation, but we provide it here in the greater Houston area. And what that looks like is a lot of them have neglect from medical issues. So that's partnering with local medical clinics and dental offices. That's partnering with legal aid foundations. That's partnering with organizations that can provide psychiatric and mental health care for them. And so doing that in a very familial community environment, we've seen such great progress. And even though this is a dark industry, there is hope, there is light. And we thank you for the opportunity to partner with us to bring light to these women. And we have a graduate, a recent graduate, who has not only taken her perseverance and her determination to have a better life, partnered with the restorative care services and resources we were able to provide for her. And she is graduated, she is living independently, and she's actually an awesome citizen of Fort Bend County today. So thank you for the work that you do. We are committed to stand in this fight. We are committed to continue to raise awareness and to provide direct care services to survivors. So thank you.
Thank you. As I mentioned a few minutes before, we are blessed to have many other organizations supporting this, especially the victims of human trafficking, and organizations that have supported raising awareness and providing support. The Missouri City chapter of the Lynch recently held an event, Share the Love Food and Supply Drive, to support victims of human trafficking, along with Redeemed Ministries, to talk about their effort in making our county and our region a better place. I will invite Sharon Henderson Sanders. Please come forward and talk. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Sharon Henderson Sanders, and I'm with the Missouri City chapter of the Links Incorporated. The Links Incorporated finds it very important, this initiative to stop human trafficking, and we want to commend District Attorney Brian Middleton for his efforts to do so. Thank you so much for creating the Committee on Human Trafficking. Thank you for the Special Crimes Unit that you have created to bring these traffickers and buyers to justice. And thank you for not re-victimizing the victims and lending a hand out to them and helping them up and not prosecuting them as though they did something wrong. As the other speakers have said, it's so important to realize that this can happen to anyone. It can happen to any race, any age, any religious denomination. No one is protected. Personally, I will tell you that I have had contact with Elijah Rising years ago. I visited the museum that you have. I went on the tour. It was just surprising to see the reach, the breadth of this sex trafficking here in the Fort Bend, Harris County, Montgomery County areas. It's crazy. It's so important for us to partner with other community agencies, the wonderful agencies you have here in Fort Bend County, the Sheriff's Office, the County Attorney's Office, everyone to come together, to see something, say something, to do whatever we can to reduce this blight in our society. Our efforts in the Missouri City chapter vary from year to year, but it's always at the forefront of our mind of what we can do to help partner to bring these tragedies to life and to provide support for the victims thereof, because we don't want them to be, well, actually, I won't call them victims, I'll call them survivors, okay? Survivors and future survivors, because we want to support them in the best way possible. So again, I want to thank you, District Attorney Middleton. I want to thank Judge George. I want to thank the County Attorney's Office. I want to thank all of the other partner organizations that have come together to bring this to light and to eradicate this behavior in the greater Fort Bend area, Harris County, Houston, et cetera, et cetera. Thank you so much for this time, and I appreciate you.
Thank you, Sharon. Thank you for all your good work. I always said this Fort Bend County, in every level when we need any kind of help, we are blessed with so many organizations in Fort Bend County, nonprofits, helping and supporting, empowering our community and our people. And at this time, we like to present some certificates. I know that we don't do this for certificate or recognition, but our little small token of appreciation and presenting this certificate showing that your work, we want people to see it, and that is one of the reasons. I know for sure, I repeat, I know you don't do this for any attention or any special recognition. I want to invite our very own Fort Bend County District Attorney, Brian Middleton, come forward.
Was not expecting this.
Thank you, sir. Definitely Fort Bend County Attorney Bridgette Smith-Lawson. Of course, there are more people engaged in this activity. I haven't mentioned another person we want to recognize is Chief of Regulatory Division with Fort Bend County Attorney's Office is Umar Ahmed. Thank you for that. And of course, Assistant County Attorney, Regulatory Division, Anton Montaigne. Okay, so we will present it later. A Chief Investigator that is also from County Attorney's Office, Patrick Nancy. And so we know that we have to give some certificate of recognition to some other important people. You will receive it. And I wanted to say this. And of course, along with that, we will be preparing some participatory artwork orated by Molly Gotchman that uses sidewalk interventions and earthwork installation to create opportunities for people to question, connect, and take action against vulnerabilities that can lead to human trafficking and exploitation. Today, we will fill cracks around the courthouse that with the red sand as a measure that we will continue to take action against vulnerabilities. I mean, because this is all we know, that taking advantage of vulnerability. And so we are saying with this action, we will take action against these kinds of exploitation, which is human trafficking and human exploitation. Victims of sexual trafficking seeking help can call the National Human Trafficking Hotline number at 888-373-7888. I repeat it again, 888-373-7888. The help is available. But once again, I just wanted to say this, Friday morning, you could have been doing so many other things, but you're here, and so that means you care. And Fort Bend County is thankful you're here. And also those who are watching, especially even if you are a bad guy, remember this, Fort Bend County is ready. And I'm not a law enforcement person, but I have people with me. And so we together combat this. I will provide them with the resources, and I will go with them, and I will do whatever I need to do. Because this is not allowed, we cannot allow in this modern world we live in. And with that, once again, I really appreciate you all are coming this morning. Let's continue to make this difference. And I just wanted you leaving here feeling so proud. And people are noticing us. And that's what I said. People are noticing us outside Fort Bend County. And that's the recognition our district attorney is receiving from outside, of course, county attorney and so on, and many other people. And so they are noticing it, people, and that, guess what? When they're noticing it, also bad guys also noticing it. Don't mess with Fort Bend County. And so, once again, thank you for your contribution to make Fort Bend County continue to be a better place for our children and generations to come. Thank you.